Hey everyone, today we're going to be taking a look at my reading journal. I'm going to go through all of the spreads, every single page, so I hope you enjoy it, and please bear with me, some of the early pages are not that great. But yeah, I'll go ahead and see you when the video starts. Hey everyone, it's Ellie, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to do a flip through of my completed reading journal. This is going all the way from September of 2023 to the end of September 2024. And then I'll be doing a new journal for October onward. So I finished it. At the very least, I've finished writing things in it. I'm not going to be writing anymore in this journal. So I've decided that I want to do a flip through of it to show you what I have in it before I start working on the new one. Because once I run into that new one, I am probably not coming back to this one. So I wanted to make sure I at least show everybody what's in it. It's gotten really nicely chunky, which I am super happy about. It looks so good. And yeah, I'm excited to get into it. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Okay, so flipping through to the first page, this is just the title or the nameplate, I guess. And I just used some stickers that I found in, I forget what it was. It was like a happy planner, like a bookish happy planner sticker sheet or something like that. And I used them sporadically throughout the beginning. I'll say the beginning of this journal up until like May of 2024 has absolutely no cohesion. So please take everything you see with a grain of salt. I'm gonna like move pretty quick through the beginning of it because I'm not a huge fan of what I did at the beginning. So just keep that in mind. Also, something to keep in mind, if you pause and read the blurbs for any of the things that I've reviewed, please note there are definitely spoilers in pretty much everything I've written down. I do not do spoiler-free like reviews because the reviews are for me, and most of the time I'm recapping the plot because I just wanted to write it down because I was excited about the plot, or the characters, either way. So just keep that in mind. If there's something you want to see, because I read a lot of manga, there's actually not a lot of books in this, there's a lot of manga in it. So if there's something you're reading or something you're watching, keep that in mind too. If you're watching an anime that is one of these mangas, just keep that in mind that there are spoilers in the descriptions. Just want to give a full disclosure before I get into it. Also, yeah, like I said, there's no like cohesion, there's no like theme. One of the people that inspired me to even do a reading journal was Plant-Based Bride because hers are gorgeous. But mine do not look like that. Mine does not look like that at all. There's no cohesion. There's no overarching like planner theme, like journal theme. None of that. It's just random. So just be prepared for the random. All right, let's get into it. The beginning pages, like I said, are not my favorite, and they start getting good around May of 2024. So keep that in mind. All right, this is just a title page because I never know what to do with this like kind of beginning page. So I just stuck a bunch of stickers in here. Nothing too crazy. This was supposed to be an index, but I never actually used it. I don't remember what this page was for at all. So I just put some extra stickers in here that I had that I knew I was never going to use for anything else. So now it's just a cute sticker page. These were my reading goals for 2023 and 2024. In 2023, I was in a supreme reading slump, as I had been for a few years prior to that. So my goal was just to read more, essentially. So I had to read at least 20 books, which I did. Try to listen to more audiobooks, which I listened to one, so I count that, even though I didn't listen to it all the way through, but I'm still counting it. Keep up with my reading journal, which I have done, yes. Work through my TBR, which I have been doing. Read more books and fan fiction, which I also have been doing. Proud of myself for that one. Start on the Pokemon series because we have pretty much everything until Sword and Shield. We have all of the manga until Sword and Shield. So my goal was to read through it because I haven't read any of it. And start on Magi. Magi, like Pokemon, is my husband's manga series that he has. So my goal was to start on it. I didn't actually start on it this year because I started Pokemon instead. But hopefully I'll get to this next year, along with several other things I need to start reading. This was my reading tracker. I saw this like on several, different reading journal pages, and I'm not really a fan of it. I don't really like the way I did it. I'll do something else next year, I'm sure. What I probably will do is do like little pictures of each book and just kind of like line them up across an entire spread, and that I will probably like a lot better. This was my really sad book bracket of 2023. I did not read that much. I started this reading journal in September, and I read 2 mangas. They were 2 that are connected, and in October I read some Hero Academia, and that's pretty much it. November and December, didn't read anything. So there was nothing to compare for those ones. My 24 books in 2024, which I never filled out. This is also my really sad book bracket of 2024, which I might go back and at least fill in the October, November, December ones to finish off the bracket, but that's probably the only thing I'll come back to this journal for after I do this walkthrough. So far, Dan Da Dan is winning, and you'll see when we get to those that I absolutely love Dan Da Dan. Ooh, that was strange. This is my book purchases. They started ramping up as I started reading more in May and onward, but not that many. Again, mostly manga that I've bought, but otherwise not too many other things. Pretty light on purchases, to be honest. All right, this is my first page, like a monthly page, I guess. Still wiggling through, still trying to work my way through what I want. I put my 2 reads up here at the top, and then I started by putting books that my son was reading, well, that I was reading to my son, because at this point he was not even 1 year old. But he saw them in this notebook, and I don't know if you can see the little paper edges, but he has ripped those pictures out because they're pictures of his books. So they're no longer in here, and I stopped doing that after this page. The 2 fanfictions, these are fanfictions on this side. The 2 mangas that I read this month were Restart After Coming Back Home and Restart After Growing Hungry by the same author, continuation of the series. And they were super cute. I really enjoyed them. My October reads, I read some Hero Academia, and I did put a space for the baby reads, but I didn't actually put any in here. Again, still working on my design choices. I actually didn't even review these this month, and I started writing about the fan fiction that I read, but never actually finished that either. Like I said, these early months, bear with me. November, nothing. December, nothing. We were moving. We did house tours on the first weekend of December, and then by the 20th of December, we were moving into our new house. So December was a lot. It was very, very much a lot going on. Didn't really have any time to read. And now we're moving into 2024, which will be the start of better pages. And then when we get to May, I will have hit my groove with how I like to do my pages. The manga series tracker that I tried to create and didn't actually work out well. We've got, this is, I guess, a future log kind of stuff that's coming out, so I can keep track of how far behind I am in certain mangas that are coming out. Not really. This one's fine. I'll probably just move this over to the next year also. All right, and into January. I like this layout a lot better as like the way to show. Oh, you can see in the middle, the spine is cracking a little bit. So here's my TBR books that I planned on reading. I read all of them except for The Sun and the Star. So we've got A Bride Story, volumes 10 through 13, which was rereads, but I didn't write the review for it. Neither did I write the review for 14. Sorry about that. Spy X Family, volumes 8 through 10. Heartstopper, volume 5, which I really adored. It was very cute, very sweet. And now already into February. This time I wrote out my TBR lists. As you can see, there's tons of experimenting going on in this journal. Again, no cohesion, none at all. Just bear with me as we go through it. I read Dan Da Dan Volume 1, and I'm pretty sure the rest of these are all fan fiction reads. So yeah, Heartstopper fan fiction, Haikyuu fan fiction, Good Omens fan fiction, more Haikyuu, more Good Omens fan fictions that I didn't write for, I guess. And rolling into March, I didn't even write anything in this square this time. Snapdragon is a graphic novel. I think it's a middle grade graphic novel. It was very cute. I gave it 3 stars. It was very cute, very sweet. And then I think the rest is once again fan fiction. Fan fiction I didn't want to write about, so I put pictures in instead. I think that's Mandalorian fan fiction. A Heartstopper, Haikyuu, more Heartstopper, and April reads. And April, I actually read none of these because I only read a fan fiction and that's it. And now into May. Now May is where I actually start to read a lot more. It's manga, but I am reading a lot more, and that is because I participated in the Goober Readathon, hosted by Jess, or Jashi Corinne, Monica from Baby Live File by Night, and Rachel from Rachel.Pujos. Very, very fun readathon that I really, really enjoyed. And so because of that, I was able to read a lot more. So I put out the little squares, the little square box bingo board, whatever you want to call it. And underneath the ones that I read something for, I just put the little pictures underneath. I think I did pretty good. Yeah, I got like 40 points for this readathon. So I had a great time with it, and that really inspired me to start reading a lot more. And it also like helped me figure out how to read more, because I was struggling before with taking care of my son during the day and all the other like daily activities that I have to get done, and chores I have to complete. So, and things I have to keep on top of. So it was just really nice to actually purposely carve out time for myself to read things. Whoops. I heard that crunch. All right, so we have Heartstopper Volume 5, which I did, which was a reread. Nick and Charlie, which is kind of a novella, I guess. Secret XXX and Undead Unluck Volume 1, which I'm really enjoying Undead Unluck. I watched the anime before I read these, and then I started reading them, and it's just so good. I absolutely love it. It's fantastic. Also, this is, I don't know if you've noticed, I didn't do it on these ones, but on these ones, I start writing warnings because some of these are a bit much. I don't know if you can read that warning in the corner, but while some novels that some of people read on like Bookstagram and all that, they're spicy, what we like to call spicy, adult novels, of course, and they are a little bit of description in there that we don't want children to read. But these are manga, and therefore there are pictures. And so it's not just words, and I want to emphasize, it's not just words, it is pictures and visuals, drawings, the complete, like, thing. So just keep that in mind as well. Take this warning very, very seriously. Mad K, which I read volumes 1, 2, and 3 all at once. I got volume 3 for my birthday from a friend, and I had to go back and reread 1 and 2 because I had completely forgotten about the story itself, and I wanted to make sure I refreshed myself before I read volume 3, which was the final volume. Again, take the warnings very seriously. I'm not really going to talk too much about each book because I don't want to give, like I said, I don't want to give spoilers, and some of them I just really don't think are appropriate to talk about on YouTube like that, but just so I should actually talk about the ratings, which I haven't been doing. Well, I gave Mad K all 3 stars. Secret XX 3 stars, Undead Unluck 4 stars, and I'm pretty sure I gave Heartstopper 5. Yeah, Heartstopper Volume 5 is 5 stars, Nick and Charlie's 4 stars. Alright, I just want to make sure I, emphasize the importance of taking the warnings very seriously. My Dress Up Darling Volume 1 and 2, also a super cute series. It's got a lot of fan service in it, so some people, that's not their cup of tea, but in the end, it's really just an adorable series about a girl who really wants to cosplay, and a guy, his name is Gojo, who creates Hina dolls, and he's creating these costumes for her as a way to enhance his skills in making Hina dolls, because that's what he wants to do, is make Hina dolls, which is his family's business. And it's just really sweet. I really, really enjoy this one. The unique ability, which I read specifically for the Goober Readathon, and also because I was trying to find out if I have a unique ability. Still haven't found it. This book wasn't very useful for me, but it could be useful for somebody else. Therapy Game Restart, which is a spin-off and also a sequel, because it's a spin-off of Secret XX, but it's a sequel to the spin-off that's called just Therapy Game. There's a volume called Therapy Game, which is the original spin-off of Secret XX, and Therapy Game Restart is the sequel to Therapy Game. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it was also pretty good. And now we get into Dandadan, which I absolutely love. Dandadan. It is probably the most anime manga that you've ever seen in your life. It definitely leans into all the anime-isms and the manga-isms, but I find it does it in like the best way possible. Something that I learned is that the author just wants to draw cool stuff, and then he works the story around the cool stuff. So I think that's just hilarious. And really good storyteller, because they do it really well. And Dandadan is actually coming, there's actually an anime coming out for it very soon. So I am also really excited to see that. It's coming out actually this month in October. Or it might already be out. There might be an episode out already by the time this video goes up for sure. Dandadan Volume 4 and 5. These are probably one of my favorite pages. This is my favorite spread. I love the colors. I love the coordination going on. I've held on to this sticker for years, and it works perfectly in this situation. Fantastic. I love it. I guess a brief rundown. Dandadan is just, well, the synopsis is that it's about a boy who believes in aliens and a girl who believes in spirits, and neither one believes the other's thing. So they send each other to a place where they could supposedly run into it, and turns out both of them are real. Both of them are right. Both things are real. Aliens and spirits both exist. And through shenanigans, they end up having to work together to defeat a spirit, and then get tied together by a kind of horrible thing that happens to the male protagonist. And then they go on adventures together, and it's awesome. That's it. That's all I'm going to say about it. My Dress Up Darling Volume 3, which, again, I'm not really a fan of these pages. I think I started putting too many things on the pages. I did pull back a little bit with this one, My Dress Up Darling Volume 4 and 5. So I like this spread as well. I think when I get the color coordination well, then they turn out really nice. But like I said at the beginning, no cohesion. Alright, this is my June spread, and this one I just did Fave Book of the Month, which was Dandadan. I was really excited about it. We have this is a webtoon called Boyfriends. Really shouldn't have done 2 whole pages for it, but I was abundantly bulldozed with stickers when I bought these 2 volumes. So I needed to use the stickers somewhere, and I knew I wasn't going to use them anywhere else except this reading journal, so I ended up doing 2 full spread pages for them. We've got Dandadan Volume 7, Spy X Family Volume 11, the first 4 volumes of Attack on Titan, which I read because I had them. My brother-in-law gave them to me, and I just felt like I should read them. I've already watched. These ones don't go past season 1. I don't know why there's a hair stuck in there. These volumes don't go past season 1 of Attack on Titan, but I already seen season 1, so there was nothing new in these 4 volumes, but I still actually kind of enjoyed them, so I gave them all 3 stars. Hinamatsuri, which is a comedy series about a girl who kind of falls from the sky in a giant pod and just becomes a nuisance to this guy. And just wacky misadventures about that. It's pretty silly, decently funny, but I will say I did struggle to read more after this one, and you'll see what I mean when we get a little bit further. My Dress Up Darling Volume 6, And Undead Unluck Volume 2, I absolutely hate these spreads. Not these volumes. I love these volumes of both these series, but I hate these spreads. I think I made them a little bit too chaotic. There's too much going on. Really not into it. I wish I could have changed them. And into July. As you can see, I was very ambitious for July. A bit too ambitious, I would say, especially since I put novels in here. I'm trying really hard to read The Sun and the Star. I don't know if you've seen it how many times in the TBR lists, but I'm trying really hard to read it, and it's just not happening. We've got Undead Unluck Volume 3 and 4, because I was really getting into it. Fourth Wing, which I tried to listen to on the audiobook. This is my one audiobook for this year, and I couldn't get through it. I ended up DNFing it. I'm super sorry to anyone who likes Fourth Wing or really enjoyed Fourth Wing. I really tried, but I just couldn't do it. I could not do it. The main character was way too annoying, and nothing about this world made any sense to me, especially the way the military runs. It just, as someone who grew up in a military family, my dad is very high ranking in his branch of the military. I couldn't get behind it. It made no sense. Like, absolutely made no sense to me at all, how the way this military runs and functions. Even with the idea of they have these dragons that are unpredictable, really, and basically do what they want, the rest of it just doesn't make any sense. And I'm sorry, I'm spending way too much time on this book that I didn't even really read, but I just really struggled with this one. But if someone else likes it, I'm really glad you like it. Just was not for me. You can see I gave it 1 star, because to me, 1 star is basically the same as DNFing it. I will never give a book that I have read all the way through 1 star, because I did read it all the way through. I made it to the end, so it has to at least get 2. So anything that I've DNF'd, I'll probably give it 1 star. I reread Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief, as my goal is to reread the entire series, because there is a new one coming out. I think it probably already came out, or it's coming sometime soon. But yeah, trying to reread the entire series to catch up again. Who knows if that'll actually happen, but trying my best. And this is when I started back on the Pokemon Adventures series. So I started with volume 15, which seems strange, but Pokemon is broken up into several arcs, which have different protagonists at the forefront of each arc. At least the big long run of 29 volumes that Pokemon Adventures is. And then they start chopping it up into different sections. So I started with Ruby and Sapphire, because I had already long past read the original arc, Red's arc, and then I also read Yellow's arc. I skipped Gold and Silver's arc because we watched a video about it, so I decided to skip it and go right to Ruby and Sapphire, which was so much fun. I very, very much enjoyed the Ruby and Sapphire arc. Moving into August book spread, I was a little bit more conservative with my TBR this time. And I also did the deck of TBR-a-thon. I ended up with 25 points if I just take the most points that I got from each one. And then with the extra points from like these extra ones in the corner here, I got 30 points. And I had a good time with this one as well. Continuing on with the Pokemon Adventures, Ruby and Sapphire arc, and this was the last volume in the Ruby and Sapphire arc. Spy X Family Volume 12, Dawn to Dawn Volume 8, which, so good, top tier. I read The Witch's House because I had them on my shelves and I was like, have I ever read this? I don't know, I was really feeling nostalgic for the game for some reason, and so I read them, and they were okay. I think the first volume was a lot better than the second volume, but it was alright, I guess. And here's where I decided to go back and actually read the Gold and Silver arc, because I didn't actually read it, I only watched a video about it. So I went back and reread it, and it was lots of fun as well. So I read 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14, which is the entirety of the Gold and Silver arc. My favorite volumes being 10, 11, and 14, the last one. 10 and 11 because a character comes in named Chris. Her name is Crystal, and she's amazing. She's probably my favorite Pokemon trainer. Amazing. Absolutely love her. My Dress Up Darling Volume 7 and 8, 9, and 10. Still don't know how I feel about these pages, the way they're kind of designed. I'm a little iffy on them. I struggle with my Dress Up Darling because the color scheme for it is a little weird. On the title cards, they usually do 2 different colors for dress up, and I use those colors for my color scheme, but sometimes they don't really mesh really well, and so it can be a little bit of a struggle to get something cohesive, I guess. And here's where I ran into my problem. I planned on reading the next 4 volumes of Hinamatsuri, but I really struggled to get into them, and it put me kind of in a reading slump, so I ended up not reading them. But I'd already made the pages, and so these pages are just kind of eternally blank, I guess, because I really, really struggled to go back and read these. And now into the last one, the September books that I read. I wrote my TBR out this time instead of doing any pictures. And I tried to participate in the magical readathon, but to be honest, I was so lost. There's so much going on with the magical readathon and Aurelium and the school stuff and the legends and like creating your character. I mean, I got the creating the character part, that makes sense, but it was just so much like lore and so many things, and like you were supposed to do the spring equinox first in order to even finish the fall equinox, because the fall one was how you do like your final stuff to get your license, and you had to do prerequisites to even start that process. So I was just so lost, and that's not anything bad against the magical readathon. It looks like so much fun, but I just really struggled, and so I just kind of gave up about halfway through the month because I couldn't keep up with what was going on with it, and I was trying to read all the material and figure everything out, and I just really couldn't get it. So I'll probably try again spring of next year, where it's kind of like a more fresh start, so I can start the semester like where I'm supposed to and actually, you know, do it that way. I do feel like, though, based on these I guess the little markers, some of them will be hard to do for manga, and I also tend to have a set TBR of what I plan to read that month, and a lot of times they just don't fit into the little prompts. So I don't know, we'll see. Maybe I'll just struggle, and maybe it's just not the magical readathon just isn't for me. So I'm not sure. Alright, I continued on with the Pokemon Adventures. This is Fire Red and Leaf Green, which was very fun. It was only 3 volumes, but they left me on the craziest like cliffhanger ever. I was losing my mind. So I went ahead and just read Cherry Magic, which is a really light series. This office worker guy named Adachi has been a virgin for 30 years. So when he turns 30, he gets the magical ability to hear people's thoughts when he touches them. And he comes to find out that one of the office workers that he works with, named Kurosawa, actually has a massive crush on him. And they really go from there. It's very cute. I will say this series is rated M, and it does have the little explicit material sticker, because mangas have those. If they've got a lot of explicit material, or if they're high rated, like usually rated M for mature, they will usually have the little explicit sticker on them. They also usually wrap them in plastic, but yeah, if there's like a lot going on in them. But yeah, I found it really cute, really sweet. There's so far nothing super explicit in these ones, but I do plan on getting more. I read volumes 1 through 3 because those are the ones I owned, and I'll probably get the rest because it was a very fun read. I read volumes 13 and 14 of Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun, which is kind of like it's kind of like a comic panel series, because each page has its own like setup and punchline for jokes. It's basically like a joke comic series. But there is an overarching story and like a full plot line going on, but every page is its own joke. And honestly, this is the funniest manga that I've ever read in my life. I literally laugh out loud, and not like just the classic like LOL, but like your straight face. No, I legitimately laugh out loud, like uncontrollably, when I read these. They are so funny. It's the funniest manga that I've ever read. And continuing, these are the last bits of the Pokemon Adventure series. This was the Emerald arc. And there are only 4 volumes in this one. I actually really love this page. This page is one of my favorites that I've designed. But yeah, I absolutely loved this arc. Surprising. Emerald is an interesting protagonist, and I don't know if I would have liked him, but right at the beginning, the group that he runs across, they're called the Frontier Brains or something like that. I mean, basically this was a written version of like Battle Frontier, that game. And they are terrible. They are super awful to this kid. And so I immediately was on the kid's side. And so I guess some people don't really like Emerald, but I was totally fine with him immediately because those Frontier Brains, assholes, not for him, not with him, absolutely not. I read the graphic novel Bloom, which I thought I would be a fan of because it gives like Heartstopper vibes, but really was not a fan, and really because the end kind of really bothered me. I don't want to spoil it or anything, but I just was not a fan of like a thing that happened towards the end. I read The Girl from the Sea, which was kind of like a younger children's middle grade story. It was very sweet, very cute, but it was pretty surface level, so that's why I didn't give it too high of a rating, just because I gave it 3 stars, just because it's pretty surface level, like very sweet, very nice, nothing bad in it, obviously, but it was very, very surface level. Sweet enough. And then Teasing Master Takagi-san volumes 14 and 15, another kind of anthology series with each chapter being like a small little look into kind of their daily lives. Teasing Master Takagi-san is about these 2 characters, Takagi and Nishikata, and essentially Takagi just spends her time just lightly teasing Nishikata, and he just struggles like so hard. He struggles so hard. It's not like any kind of hardcore teasing, it's just stuff to try to make him blush, and he just is so easily just it's just too easy to make him blush. Honestly, it's quite funny. It is sweet all the way through. Very cute. And that is actually the end. I did put in one for Percy Jackson, but I never actually read it, so nothing there. And then we have a couple blank pages. And then this is just my list of volumes that I'm keeping track of for next year in 2025, just so that I had somewhere to write them down, that I would remember to put them in the new journal. And yeah, kind of nothing too crazy to end with, just a big sticker at the back. But yeah, that is my 2023 or 2024 reading journal. That's the complete end. Thanks for coming through with me and taking a look at all the different spreads. Let me know if you liked any of them. Let me know which one that you thought was, I guess, the nicest looking, or whichever one that you thought was the nicest. Let me know what you think, and let me know if you've read any of the manga that I've read. I'm trying next year to read more novels. It's just a bit difficult for me to actually get into reading novels because they take so much time, and it's a lot easier to just pop down for like 20-30 minutes, read half of a manga, and then if my son needs me, then I can just get up and move on and then come back to it when I have another 10 minutes to spare. Reading a novel takes a lot more time, and I prefer sitting down and just reading the entire thing, which I don't usually have time for. So for now, I will stick with manga, but next year I will try to get more into novels. So if you've got any suggestions for any novels I should try, let me know. I'll let you know if I read them already and what my thoughts are on them. And if I haven't, just give me a brief description of what it's about. I'll probably find it interesting. Anyway, thanks for watching, and yeah, hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye! You're a joke.